Now we will complete the second part of the female reproductive system. In this video, we will definitely see the external genitalia, right, and mammary glands. So talking about the external genitalia. External genitalia is composed of mons pubis. So this we will take first. Then labia majora. Then labia minora, right, and then clitoris, right. Hymen we have already discussed, that is a membranous diaphragm present at the opening of the vagina, right, that we have discussed, so we are not going to take it right now, but we are discussing the first one, that is mons pubis. Mons pubis is generally present, this is outermost part, first of all, outermost part of the female reproductive system, that is or external genitalia, formed of, composed of fatty tissue, right, which is cushion like fatty tissue, right. So this is the part above the urethral orifice. Urethral orifice and vaginal orifice are different. So in this case, urinary system or excretory system is separate and the reproductive system is separate. So we cannot use over here the word urinogenital tract, because which was used in male but it cannot be used in male. I have already said in that video also, and now also I am saying it. Remember this. This is mons pubis. So it is covered by skin and pubic hair. By skin and pubic hair. So this is about the first thing. Next one, right? From mons pubis, there is a paired skin fold. From mons pubis, it extends down. That is a paired skin fold called as labia majora. Right? Extends. Sorry, over here first we will write a paired skin fold. Skin fold extending from mons pubis, right. Under it, under the paired skin fold, there is another pair of skin folds surrounding the vaginal orifice, right, called as labia minora, right. Under, let's say under the paired labia majora, there is skin fold, right, that is also paired, right, surrounding vaginal orifice. Okay. Now if I say about the clitoris, see, where the labia minora at the upper part joins, there is a structure very similar to the penis, having very similar to the penis. It is equivalent to penis, but it lacks the urethra. It lacks urethra, right? At the junction of labia minora, there is an erectile organ called as clitoris, right, that is called as clitoris, and this legs is similar to, it is similar to penis, right, but lacks urethra. This is lacking urethra. And the last one that has been not discussed in this video but it has been discussed in the previous video, that is hymen. There is a membranous diaphragm at the vaginal orifice. Generally it is closed, but at the time of puberty, right, it undergoes perforation, and to discharge the menstrual waste or the menstrual discharge, to pass that discharge, that perforation occurs, and it can also break due to sudden jolt, cycle riding, anything, right? So it depends. So this is about the external genitalia. Now we are going to discuss about the mammary. The last part of the female reproductive system is mammary gland. Now mammary gland are paired structures. They are paired structures, and the very important function of the mammary gland is to nourish the young one, right? After the birth of the young one, the milk is produced in the mammary glands to nourish it, right? So basically it is very important. If I say mammary gland is composed of two types of tissue, composed of glandular and glandular tissue and fatty tissue. Okay, so see, this is the main thing, that composition is of the glandular tissue and fatty tissue. Now if I say about the glandular tissue, right, each mammary gland is composed of 15 to 25 mammary lobules. Okay, so you remember this, and these all lobules are separated by these are separated by the fatty tissue. Now this lobules, right, that are 15 to 25, each mammary gland is having, that are formed of glandular tissue. These each lobules are generally having a type of tubulo-alveolar glands, right? So each lobules is composed of tubulo-alveolar gland, right? So this is composed of tubulo-alveolar gland, and the alveoli of it is lined by milk producing cells. So after the birth, right, and after the birth, these cells start to produce the milk, right? So they start to synthesize the milk. So definitely now, and this all lobules has its own lactiferous duct, right? Each lobule has own lactiferous duct which opens into nipple. Okay, so this is the basic thing. Now we will need to understand the pathway, how the things goes, right? So let's see. First of all, alveoli lined by milk producing cells. Milk producing cells secretes milk which is emptied or in lumen of alveoli. Now from here, this milk, right, is collected, or many alveoli opens into mammary tubules. So over here, many alveoli opens into mammary tubules. Okay, now each mammary tubules further joins to form a mammary duct, right? So over here, many mammary tubule joins to form mammary duct, right? This mammary duct, right, further opens or joins to form a broader part referred as ampulla, right? Several mammary ducts joins to form ampulla. Okay, joins to form ampulla, and this ampulla further opens into lactiferous duct, right? And as I said, this lactiferous duct further opens into the nipple. So let's say, for example, this is one alveoli, likewise another alveoli, right? This both has secreted the milk. They join to form, as I said, it forms mammary tubule. Many mammary tubules likewise join to form, this is mammary tubules, right? These mammary tubules join to form mammary duct. Many mammary ducts like this joins to form the ampulla, right? And many ampullas likewise join to form a lactiferous duct which opens at the tip of the nipple. So when the milk is suckled out, it comes directly to the child, right? So this is about the mammary glands. Thank you.